Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You are the Pied Piper, honest to God. It is amazing the way people follow you. The other day, I'm just going to, one example. Man, the other day, I threw a random thought out on Twitter, right? Just when something like this, we wouldn't worry so much about what people think of us if we knew how little time people actually spent thinking of us.
Right.
And so I just threw, which I think is true, but I just throw it out like I do with a lot of stuff on Twitter. I just threw it. I didn't expect anyone to read it or say it. So next thing I know, you retweet it. Now, when you retweet something, I had, I'm not exaggerating, 300 within, 300 retweets of that silly epithet that I threw out there. You are the Pied Piper.
I don't know. I just say what I mean and what I think, and I'm glad that people like it. I don't set out to be followed. I just say what's on my mind, and people seem to like it, so that's good.
Somebody likes it, right?
Hopefully, well, I mean, most people don't like it, actually, but there's enough people who do like it, and that's kind of the point.
Do people tell you when they don't like it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I have a lot of hate mail, a lot of haters, but that's fine.
Yeah. That's okay, right?
It's totally fun. Yeah, I'd rather have some people who love you and some people who hate you. I don't want to be in the middle. I don't want to be Dell computer. Yeah. Who cares about Dell? People care about Apple. Who cares about Dell? Does anyone here care about Dell? I mean, does anyone really care about them? I don't think so. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, you want to have a strong point of view and make it happen. Now, I have a bone to pick with you.
Please.
Okay, so I love your new book, ReWork.
Thank you.
And I've read it a bunch of times, right? Because there's a lot of stuff in there. It's just all great counterintuitive thinking that really challenges our thinking. But I have to tell you, we did a global scan of the book.
What does that mean?
Right, just a word search on the book. We went through the entire book. How many times do you think the word innovation is in your book?
Probably 0.
Yeah, once.
Once, okay.
And where?
Yeah, I don't like the word innovation.
Where the one in the blurb I wrote for the front cover of the book. That's where the word innovation.
There we go.
Is.
That's where it is. Yeah.
Well, so go ahead.
Honestly,
why don't you like the word innovation?
I think it's overrated.
Yep.
I think the word that should be here. So I go to a lot of conferences. I speak a lot. I hear a lot, and I hear the word innovation come up all the time, and I don't hear the word usefulness come up that much. And for me, useful is far more important than innovative. Now, if you can get both, that's great. But I think people should be focused on building things that are useful, that solve real problems that people have today. Now, there's obviously scientists and brilliant minds who are working on the next stuff. But I think a lot more people could be very successful focusing on stuff today that needs to get done, like right now. And that's why I think that useful is a word you should be hearing more about at business conferences especially.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah,
yeah.
No, I would agree with that. But was it purposeful? I mean, the word innovation. You just say too much of a buzzword. Let's keep it out of the vocabulary.
Yeah, really. I mean, I know like Business Innovation Factory is there, so Business Usefulness Factory doesn't really work. So, but it was. We're very, very careful with the words we choose, and we think a lot about them. And I just think that word, it's like the word simple, which is in our book a lot, but simple doesn't mean anything anymore either. So simple, innovative, some of these words have been so overused and they mean so many different things that they don't mean anything anymore. Yeah. So we try and keep those sorts of words out of our book.
Yeah, words do matter.
Yeah, they do.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. Let me just pick a couple of things out of the book that seem really counterintuitive to me. So you have one little chapter in there called Why Grow?
Yes.
Right, so and I know you think about this now. Guys like me, I think a lot of people in this room, we were brought up to be about growth. Right. It's in our DNA. Right? We were taught that if you're not growing the organization, right, then you're not successful.
Sure.
Right? That there's no way that we want to be stagnant, which has all kinds of connotations. So now here you come, and you ask the question, why grow? Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, our feeling is that what happens is when people think about growth a lot, they skip right over the right size. Mm-hmm. And there are things that are the right size. This water bottle is the right size. If this bottle was this big, it wouldn't be the right size. It'd be too big. We'd know that. But why is it that businesses always have to seem to get bigger? That the right size for most businesses is huge? I don't buy that. I think a lot of great businesses are killed by growing. And I think this is one of the problems with the VC model, the venture capital model, is that they're not content with a right size small business that's profitable. They want to go big. And so they hire and they do all this stuff, and they might jump right over that $8 million perfect amount of revenue per year business that could be in business for 30 years and make a lot of people really happy. Instead, they try and go big and they kill it. And this happens a lot. And so I just don't feel like big is a goal in and of itself. I think people should find the right size, whatever that might be. And for some businesses, it is big. But I think for many businesses, being content with how big you are, what size you are, staying nice and small and manageable is great. And I think a lot of big businesses wish they were smaller because they can move, they can try things, there's a lot less hassle. And I'm just a big fan of keeping things. Here's the thing. Things fundamentally, I believe, are very simple and easy until you make them hard and complicated. And I think big means hard and complicated in many ways. So I think we can be a lot happier if just finding the right size and staying there.
How does that work in your own business? So the 37 Signals, what are the growth plans? Is there a growth plan for the business?
We don't have growth plans. We're 20 people now, which is bigger than we've ever been.
Yeah. Just moved into a new space, too, right?
Moved into a new office, our first dedicated office that we've ever had. We've been in business for 11 years, so we finally have our first office. Yeah. We hire after we need to hire people. We think you should hire when it hurts, not before. That you should feel that pain before you bring people on. Don't hire in anticipation of needing people. Hire after you need somebody. Hire late is sort of our point of view. And that keeps us nice and small and tidy, and I know everybody by name. I know what everyone's doing. We all know each other. We all know what everyone's working on. And we can build a solid team that can be together for a really long time and get really, really good at working together.
Tell me about you just moved into a new office, so you were working virtually, with your team. So now you're in space,
right?
It's a physical space,
right?
So that's a big change, right? So
it is.
Are you guys getting on each other's nerves? What's
Well, so we've had an office, but we've been sharing with another company for a long period of time. So our big thing is no interruptions. To me, that is the biggest problem with work today, or with offices today, is our interruptions. People don't go to work anymore to work. They go to work to be interrupted. And when you go to work to be interrupted, you don't have a work day. You have a series of work moments. You've got 20 minutes and someone bothers you, and you've got an hour and someone bothers you, and someone bothers you, and then you got lunch and you got a conference call, and by the end of the day, you've done nothing, which is why people are working nights and weekends. It's not because there's more work. It's because you don't work at work anymore. So we built an environment that is all about silence, like a library. We think of our office as a library. And so no one talks to anybody who's in the office, out in the open workspace. But we do have a corridor in the middle of these private, almost soundproofed rooms where people can go work amongst themselves or work with other people and talk to each other and collaborate and communicate and be as loud as they want, but they won't interrupt everybody else. So we don't fight, and we're not talking to each other all the time because we're silent. Unless we need to talk to each other, then we go into a room. And so we built the office specifically for that purpose.
Here's another word that you don't like, that you talk about in your book, that we talk a lot about here, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. So
yeah.
You want to take the word entrepreneur out of our lexicon.
It's a long word, entrepreneur. My big problem with the word entrepreneur is I think it's very, it excludes people. There's a lot of people today that are really creative and come up with great ideas, and maybe they have something to sell. Maybe they're an artist, maybe they're a baker, who knows what they are. But they don't think of themselves as an entrepreneur, so they go, I can't be in business for myself because I'm not an entrepreneur. And I think that that's too bad. I think people should be doing all sorts of things and going into business. So my feeling is that, you pick a word. We like the word starter, anyone who can start something. But it doesn't really matter what the word is. It's just entrepreneur has all this baggage over the years of the big risk takers and the business people. And if you don't think of yourself like that, then you think you can't go into business. And I think that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So I just try and stay away from the word. I still use it, but I try and stay away from it. Yeah.
Are you still into the cooking thing?
Well, I'm into the cooking products thing. I don't really use them that much, but I buy stuff.
I remember last time we talked, you used you like talking about the metaphor of cooking, and assembling food and putting it together
and sharing. So the thing I talked about last time, which is still totally true, is that the best way for us to get our word out is by sharing it, just like chefs do. Chefs write cookbooks. Chefs do cooking shows, and they're not afraid of giving away their ideas. For some reason, businesses are terrified of giving away their ideas. They think that they're going to lose their competitive advantage or whatever. And so I think emulating chefs is the best way to get the word out about who you are. And that's why we wrote ReWork, and we've written other things. And it's a great way of getting the word out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, obviously, social media is a nice platform for you too. You've been pretty active in that space.
It helps, but you have to have something to say.
Yeah.
And so I think all the focus on social media is fine as long as you have something to say. Social media is just another tool to get the word out about something. So if you have nothing to say, being in social media and stuff, it doesn't matter. You know, you just still have to know, what do you stand for? What do you believe in? What will you say no to? Once you can figure those things out, then you can use tools like social media to get the word out about what you believe.
What's new in the software business? What's going on in your core business right now? What are you doing?
So it's been interesting. We've been, for the first time, actually going out and meeting our customers, which is kind of silly that we haven't done that before. But we've been doing that. And the thing I've been noticing is something that I've always believed, and it's great to have this affirmed, is that people just care about the basics. They just want the simplest thing that works for them, and that's it. And all the bells and whistles, all the new features, all the latest technology, none of that stuff really matters. I mean, some of it matters. It's not fair to me to say that none of it matters, but most of it comes down to solving simple problems that everybody has every day. And there's a lot of great tools for that. Pen and paper is great for that. The telephone, all these things are really good for it. And when you see people working, you see that they use pen and paper a lot. And you got to think, why is that? Why is that? Well, it's because it's really damn simple and cheap and easy. And so for us, we think about our software competing with pen and paper and the telephone and email, and not with other software tools, because really people get their work done that way. So we're just continuing to focus on the absolute basics and nailing those and building them beautifully and executing at a really high level on just the simplest possible things we can. And that's what our customers like.
Is that part of I've heard you say, do less than the competition?
Yeah, so our thing is, and this is in the book, is just like underdo the competition. Everybody's always trying to outdo everybody. And that's a Cold War mentality, you know, spend more, hire more, build more. Well, while everyone's doing that, we're just going to stay in our little, nice, happy place and build simpler tools than everybody else. So our products do less than the competition, and it works really well. And we're trying not to be outlessed. Let me put it that way. We don't want to be outlessed. We want to own the simplest, less software thing we possibly can. And there's always new freshmen every year. There's always more people who are just getting into something than people who've been into it for a long time. And when people who are just getting into something, they just want the simplest thing that works. And so if we can stay there, we're going to be just fine.
Tell me about being an author now. ReWork, that first book, right?
It's our first book with a major publisher.
Yeah.
We self-published our previous book.
So how painful?
Well, the good news is that ReWork was kind of already written for us. So we've been blogging for 10 years, and ReWork is basically a compilation of the ideas that we think, well, they're basically, ReWork is made of 88 essays, and they're all things that we've tried over our business over the past 10 years, but a lot of these things we blogged about. Yeah. So the book was sort of written over 10 years, and then we'd like pull it all together and published it. So it's kind of a byproduct of simply just sharing.
It's really good, and
Thank you.
It really makes you think, because you're a contrarian for sure, and you like to press the buttons on some of the things that a lot of us grew up with. So it really forces us to think about those conventions in the way we work. Now, I read, just last question for you.
Yeah, sure.
I read that you had put a moratorium on going out to give any talks a while back. Now, we're grateful that you're
we
here.
agreed to this one. Yeah,
and
right.
thank you.
Sure, of course.
Thank you for doing that. But what was that all about? In a world where you want to go out and spread the word, and you got a book out, and you want to spread that word.
Yeah,
why
I'm a little bit tired of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been speaking for many years on this stuff, and I want to get back to work. Yeah. I see a lot of people who go off and speak all the time, and I just wonder to myself, when do they get their work done? And then I'm thinking to myself, man, am I one of those people now? And so I love the process of building and creating and designing and coming up with ideas, and I can't do that if I'm on planes and just giving a lot of speeches. Yeah. So for me, this is kind of last year where I'm going to be giving some more public talks, and we actually built, in our new office, we built a theater, 37 seats in the theater, and we're going to be giving our own events and doing our own workshops in our own office, and that'll be fun for me because it's close, I don't have to travel, and I can share that way. But I mean, I love BIF. I've been here 3 times, and I wouldn't miss it. Although I might have to miss it if you ask me again. So.
Well, Jason, I am so glad that we're friends, and that you're here with us. And really, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me again, guys. Thank you. Thanks.